So, welcome. I'm very excited to talk and welcome to this event today, AI Show and Tell events. My name is Mustafa. I am a director of AI integration and assistant professor of management. And this event coordinated and organized with Sagun Guru. He is a member of Elan AI team and instructional technologist from TLT. So today's agenda is I'm going to introduce and discuss very shortly, what is the purpose and why this event matters and why I'm so glad to see all of those people coming today joining us. Then we are going to have opening remarks from Provost Kohn. After that, we are going to give update about AI Pedagogy Challenge and we are going to demonstrate our recent AI toolbox. We built this AI toolbox from your ideas, with your ideas, and we are going to start discussion about that. Roundtable discussions going to be about 30 minutes. During the roundtable discussion, we have AI Pedagogy Challenge participant and other staff members. We are asking those people, there is a roundtable discussion questions. Hey, what are some interesting AI tools you have been using? Would you like to share other people? And also, in each table, we have one Elan AI team member sitting with you. Hey, Elan AI team members, can you wave your hands? Show us where you are. Very nice. So these are the students working with us in AI initiative, and they are going to enable and show you what kind of resources are available at Elan AI, and they are going to take notes if you have anything to share with us. Finally, we are going to have the top 5 AI Pedagogy Challenge winners presentations, and we are going to close the event. With that, so thank you again. Why this event matters? These events highlight the students, staff, and the faculty innovation in artificial intelligence. We receive more than 70 different applications related to AI pedagogy. And also right now, students, faculty, and staff sit together to share the innovative AI uses. Also, it creates a space for interdisciplinary collaborations and idea sharing that enable us to connect is one of the strategically important theme at the Boldly Elan strategy. Finally, this is going to advance our planning, advance our Elan leadership in ethical and responsible AI integration. That is to say, that these events or AI initiative wouldn't be happened or couldn't have been done without support from our leadership and support from our community. With that, I am going to ask for opening remark to join us, Provost Rebecca Kohn. Please welcome Provost Rebecca Kohn here.
Thank you, Mustafa, so much. And it's really wonderful to be here and see the energy in the room today. And I frequently remark, not just amongst colleagues here at Elan, but when I'm out in other places and talking with other colleagues, that for an institution our size, we have a remarkable number of faculty and staff members who are genuine experts in AI. And that has really helped us so much to get to this space where we are today, where we have a room full of people who would not have said they were experts in AI and might still not say that, but are embracing its use in really novel and creative ways that are benefiting in the classroom, they're benefiting in our workspaces. And so you're moving things forward in a way that is unusual compared to other institutions. And I just want to highlight that because we live within the Elan culture and community, and so we're moving in a specific space. But we really are far ahead of many, and that's been remarked on by people at other places. And thank you to Mustafa and to other leadership who've been helping to move that forward. I know a number of faculty members from the beginning, right after ChatGPT was launched, from across disciplines, came together and really helped to first assess comfort levels with AI, and then to figure out, well, how can we help people work with AI in ethical ways, even if it's not in our comfort zone. And I think we're seeing the results of that today, that things are being produced by people who might not have been thinking about AI until very recently. So it's really my pleasure here to welcome you to Elon's first AI Show and Tell and AI Pedagogy Challenge. Very exciting. It's a celebration of your imagination, your work on your pedagogy, and your purposes here at Elon University. So we'll be highlighting the power of interdisciplinary collaboration that's grounded in human values. And I know that that's another important conversation that's been happening here at Elon. How do we emphasize humanity while we're also embracing artificial intelligence? We have to do both, and so I appreciate you keeping that in mind. But this event aligns directly with Boldly Elon and our strategy as we're focusing on innovation and experiential learning, what we've always done, and now we're incorporating AI. What you'll learn about today are things that exist on paper, but are also daily practices here at Elon University and resources that can be shared. We're also aware that this is a critical moment in higher education in relation to AI in particular, because it's shaping and reshaping how we're teaching, how students and we are learning, and how we're thinking about solutions to problems. At Elon, we don't chase this technology, we're leading with it. Thanks to all of you and to other people like Mustafa and people who came in with expertise. We're leading with it using ethical, inclusive, and human-centered approaches. And importantly, we're infusing Elon's AI principles and values throughout. An exciting example of this is the AI Pedagogy Challenge that we're meeting here about today. Nearly 70 faculty members submitted ideas ranging from an AI-powered writing tutor to health science exam preparation chatbots. And these projects are innovative, and more importantly, they're intentional, grounded in sound pedagogy, and show a clear commitment to student learning and outcomes. This event is also about community, so I think it's wonderful that you've all come together for today's event and lunch. AI doesn't belong to any one department, but you're proving every day. Today's conversation is showing what's possible when we reach across disciplines and build together at Elon. So thank you for your curiosity. Thank you for your courage in delving into a new space and for your collaborative spirit. And a special thanks to the faculty presenters and organizers who brought this vision to life. And I do want to note that this is, I think, somewhat remarkable that when you look at the presenters today, they represent journalism, education, dance, psychology, and cinema and television arts. You wouldn't always necessarily equate them with work in AI, and yet you're doing it and you're presenting on it. So let's keep all of this momentum going, and I hope that you enjoy the event.
Thank you for the opening remark, Provost Rebecca Cohn. And so in the second part, I'm going to introduce AI Toolbox and some of the example uses. Then we are going to continue with the roundtable to discuss your idea. Overall, why we just decided to roundtable, we received about 70 different ideas, and we want to give every single idea a chance to be heard by your colleagues and your peers. If you're one of those AI Pedagogy Challenge participants, share your great ideas with the other people on the tables and discuss how you are planning to implement this. Apart from that, if you're the staff members or students, please share your innovative, interesting use cases or concern, whatever you have, and let's hear all of those input from you. So we last year organized a lot of events. I bombard you with a lot of emails. How many received a lot of email from me? Am I right? You just, oh my God, that's dude emailing again. I don't want to see. So but one of the most exciting I was excited about this AI Pedagogy Challenge event, not because it is pushing and asking us to be innovative. It's also establishing a bridge across and beyond disciplinary studies. We just received, again, more than 70 different applications, and we heard idea about Civil Discourse Companion, AI Language and Culture Explorer, AI-driven motion capturing for the dance class, AI-generated life stories for sociological assessment, machine as a mirror, as a reflective AI exercise, human versus AI peer review comparisons, AI for preparation for the medical examinations, and so on and so forth. Indeed, there was a lot of idea. We couldn't list it, all of them, but overall, there is a great, amazing participation. We just printed all of those people who participated in our event. There is a certification. If you one of those participants for this AI pedagogy, please, whenever you are available, go grab your certification over there. And we just also highlight those people here. It is maybe hard to read the names because we have a lot, but I just want to thank you, all of those you submitted your idea. Indeed, that was very hard for our judges to decide, and I just want to share some of the statistics to highlight some of the interesting trend that we see in this event. First of all, most of the applications come from art and science. How many of you from art and science? Can I see a woo? Or no? Not. Okay. How many of you from business school? Can I see hands? Okay, we have some business people. How many from communication? Yeah, and education, and we have a few, education. Health sciences. Do we have a law school? Okay. Any other schools that I'm missing? No, okay. So overall, we received the most of the applications from management department. Management department sent us 8 different applications. However, second contestant is English department. You wouldn't guess, but they just sent it a lot of great ideas. That is to say, AI is not under domain of one single department or the unit. Everyone interested in. Indeed, we receive a lot of great idea from the English department. And the second most interested department was strategic communication, and we receive a lot of application from the art and science school, because the school size is large enough. And that makes our job very hard. We have 4 different judges, and they read all of those applications. And I would like to thank all of those judges to read and their due diligence to read everything details and comment it. If you are interested in receiving your comments, please email me. I'm happy to share the comments that judges add. And please welcome to join me to thank our judge for their help. And one of the comments that we received from the judges, there is some really great ideas presented by AI Pedagogy Challenge participant. If you are willing to pursue those ideas in your classroom and make a research, you can just reach out Scholarship of Teaching and Learning, and also you maybe consider getting IRB to collect the data. Really cool ideas emerge. And the second part right now, we are going to show a few AI toolbox and our grand vision. This is just a vision, this is just starting point, this is the seeds of actions, this is not the end of the actions. We are going to receive your feedback, ideas, and we are going to build on it. So what is AI Toolbox? So in the tables, every our students put it some laptop. In the laptop, we are just going to show and make it available for you too, and you can also access this web page. When you go type elan.edu/AI, you're going to come up our Elan Hub. When you go our Elan Hub, the first thing you're going to see AI Toolbox. And when you click our AI Toolbox, it is going to open a web page of generative AI toolbox or tools, custom chatbots. It's ready to use in your classroom, in your daily activities. If you're staff members, there is a staff tools. If you're students, there is a students tool. If you're a researcher, there is a researcher tools. So let me show it to you. If you want to explore the tools, you can scan these barcodes, or also you can scan the barcode behind these brochures. There is a barcode, QR code. You can scan and open it. So I just want to show a few AI tools available to you. Again, to access this platform, www.elan.edu/AI, and it's going to open our Elan AI Hub webpage. When you go down, there is an AI toolbox for faculty, staff, and students. When you click it, it is going to open this AI toolbox. So what do we have inside this toolbox? First, let's start with teaching. We received 70 different applications, And my team, Elan AI students, and I just turn all of these 70 applications into rudimentary level AI chatbots. They are not on par because we need expertise from those people who submitted. And here's my idea. If you're interested in, if you want to work with us with Elan AI initiative, let's work together to build this app for your class, and you can start using it. And let's put it shared repository. Other people teaching the similar classes can go access it. So what we have finance tool for market polls. We have ethical discourse companion. You can click and start using this tool in your teaching. We have AI teaching design coach. We have media skill coach, rhythm moment guide from Western American dance, comparative religion tutor, and all of those ideas submitted to us transform in the very basic level app is ready to explore and start using. And we test it and still needs work, but that's the part we ask. If you're really interested in your idea, email us and let's build together this repository. Second, if you are researcher or if you are staff members, we cover you too. We generated more than 20 different AI tools that you can start using it in your daily life from today. For example, if you are interested in flyer makers, there is a tool for it. You can click and define the flyers that you want to do it, and you can just create a very realistic flyers. Probably design people are going to be mad at me about that one. So today, and here, flyer generator. When it's generating the flyers, I just want to show other tools. We have Elan branding tool. If you are working on branding materials, or if you're a person who is interested in writing a web blog or web content, you can use Elan branding tool. We have Elan event finders. That is let's say what's going on this week and how can I organize my events. We have administrative process navigators. That is kind of nice. I like this tool. For example, let's say I spent some money from my pockets. How can I get reimbursed? From Elan. Search internet. Did you know how do you do that? I didn't know that before becoming AI director. And right now, this administrative process, search all of those procedures or the processes handbook, and it just can direct you to right resources to done with the administrative work that you've been doing. It just give me if it's under 150, you can go ask for petty cash or other processes available, and there's links for each of those processes. So what else we have? I just want to show a few of them. Then we are going to open the round table and you can explore the tools by yourself too. In terms of the research, how many of you are interested in research? Maybe you're the researcher, faculty members. Here, one of my favorites, let's type grant. And this is grant proposal developer. When you just came back here, I am interested in K-12 and self-efficacy and technology. Are there any grants in NC states? Am I right? And it can search all the possible grants available to NC and provide me some information. How can I apply for these grants? And if you are students, we have student success tool. And most importantly, we have career coach, enables students to find a career that fitting their interest. Resume builders, enables students to build their resume. Mental health support, it provides the mental health necessary for students to navigate their challenge if they face in Elan. time management coach. That is the thing that I should use too, because I'm over time right now. And a financial literacy advisor, and mental health or other tools, study skill coach, and transfer students or the international students guidance or coach. And finally, we have teaching preparations tool. That is one of my favorites. If you are interested in generating the exercise content for your class, come back here, click, and just type the topic that you're teaching. Let's say teaching about, selection in HR. And it can automatically generate 5 engaging hands-on activities and produce the materials that needs to be run in the classroom. All the instructions, students' materials, or faculty materials, and so on and so forth. I can go mock interview panel, for example. It is kind of hard for me to show all of those, but these are some of the selected ones, and I encourage you to explore today on the table. As you can see, it just generated all of them. Even I can ask, can you just put it to Word documents, and it can write a Word document for us too. And finally, if you are a researcher interested in research, you can run this data analysis. It doesn't matter if you're a researcher, staff member can benefit this data analyst as well. Here is an example. I'm going to attach one of the data. This data show AI productivity gains, AI usage and the productivity gains. And I'm going to just type it here. Can you analyze what are the factors contribute to AI productivity? Run a regression model. And if you're familiar or if you're not familiar, it's going to analyze the data. You can ask simple question, hey, these are the people attended in this workshop, or these are the stuff happens. Can you just explain and write my reports? Right now, it is reading the data and identify the sources, what makes people be more productive related to AI users. And it can also generate the table in APA format. I said, can you put all of those into APA formatted table? And it reads the data, generate the tables, and here the table is ready, download. And you can also ask, write the report to the document. And it's right now writing to documents writing these results to documents. I hope that makes sense. Am I right? You upload the data, you can ask your questions, and it can generate a report for you. And here, the report is written. Here. All the report is just written in a minute and so. So why I'm showing that? Because there's a lot of different tools. I am right now encouraging you to open those web page, explore, and discuss with other people. So what are we going to have? We are about to start roundtable discussion. That is the moment, if you are a participant of AI Pedagogy Challenge, share your idea with other people. If you want to explore our tools, and our students on the table take notes, and we are here to listen to your input. After the roundtable, we are about to start a finalist presentation for AI Pedagogy Challenge. Thank you. Thank you for all of these great ideas you've been discussing. Amazing. We are going to send you a link that you can also share your thoughts. And one of the things that I want to highlight, we also want to hear from what kind of resources you may need, how we can support your initiative, and how we can be useful for your innovative steps or innovative ideas next year, next semester. If you want, please share with us, and we are going to collect those informations to build our capacity for upcoming semester. That being said, right now we are going to hear the top 5 choices from the judges. We just judges independently rated those people, and they don't know the names or they don't know the department, and we curated these ratings, and they're about to present their finalists. Top 5 presentation. Sorry, I couldn't put it on words. And now, so let's get started. Number 5, Yusuf Osman from Strategy Communications, and please welcome.
Hello, I'm Yusuf Osman, faculty in Cinema and TV Arts in the School of Communications. I appreciate the opportunity to present this. This is kind of a project I've been working on for my CTA 4560 class, which is the advanced narrative class that we have. It's the last senior production class for students before they graduate. And because it's the last production class, I kind of feel the responsibility of trying to always, make sure that their skills are up to date and they're ready for kind of the real world out there. And what led me to this concept is I was kind of like something that we're all thinking about is, are we preparing our students for this new kind of intelligence era, AI era that we're going into, where this whole paradigm, the traditional paradigm of like a job from 9 to 5 until you retire is kind of, AI is disrupting that. And that kind of led me to this idea of trying to introduce AI to them as a partner instead of something that they're afraid of that might substitute or take their jobs. And I came up with this kind of interactive concept to try to do that. The other part is that it has to do with filmmaking. A big part of what we do has to do with troubleshooting and problem solving all the time. That's the big part that we do, besides the fun part that people think that we do all the time. And this last 3 weeks, I've had students come to me, tell me, actors have backed out last minute. How are we gonna film our project? We filmed, but the sound wasn't recording right. What are we gonna do? Weather, the forecast was good, but we had a storm and that canceled our shoot. So they're always coming with these problems. And professors, I'm sure, go over a lot of this in a traditional lecture of what to look out for. But I think this was a great opportunity for me I wanted them to experience it instead of just being a lecture. And so that was kind of the goal, is how do I create something that has a challenge where actors can back out. There's a lot of elements that have to do with making a production work, and we usually analyze big production movies that have failed, that had $50 million budgets and failed for various reasons. And I do a light version. I was doing a light version of this exercise where they kind of break into teams and research different aspects of why it failed. But I decided to try to take it to the next step where they actually live it and experience it. So part of it is getting them to experience these problems. So depending on, I created kind of a game format for the assignment, and that goes through the 3 phases of pre-production and then production and post-production. And based on the information that they enter as a group, they start to get prompts, and I'm going to show you some of the slides that I'm kind of working on to develop this. So it would be like an interactive web app where they get questions depending on, they're assigned a budget, they have to come up with a schedule based on that budget. So all these are questions prior to this slide. And based on all of the questions that they come up with, it kind of triggers them to have more options. And the beauty of this is that it allows you to develop open-ended scenarios, pretty much. And by open-ended, meaning that there's not just one right answer, there's a lot of correct answers that could get them there. Of course, some of them are more, they vary in the degree of how effective they are. But that's kind of the concept, is I developed this and incorporated that, and based on their decisions and what we study and what we discuss, it triggers them to make other options and learn from the experience in a safe environment instead of going out to a film shoot and things that we can't really bring to a classroom due to time limitation and location. This allows them the chance to kind of live a lot of situations in the classroom and learn from that. And kind of what inspired that was also the idea that when they go work on a film shoot, they'll come back and say, we learned so much in those 3 days from just experiencing. So I was trying to bring that experience to the classroom. I think I kind of, also encourages them to work in groups. It brings that real life experience to the classroom. And it makes them learn also. I also put a limitation on how often they could use AI. And I allow them it's kind of like a secret weapon in the game that when they're interacting with this. And part of that is that so they don't rely on it for every decision without thinking. I wanted them to just be able to save that option when it's needed so that when they actually use it, it's kind of like a superpower that they have that adds to what they're doing. And that's one of the limitations I put in there. Yeah, so the idea is for me to kind of, I'm still developing it. I'm running a light version right now, but the hope is to have this kind of like finish it over the summer and use it in the fall and have it full effect. Like I could also push it into other areas of what we do. It covers budgets, casting, legal aspects. And these are all things that would go into this and why it's very complicated. It has to do with insurance. It has to do with funding. It has to do with budgeting and scheduling based on that schedule. Yeah, and the other beautiful thing about it is that it also opens up the door for interdisciplinary collaboration. Like the engine behind this is something that the students could be developed with computer science. Our students are always learning how to pitch ideas to get funding, and that's something that would also work with the business school. In addition to that, it's just preparing them really to use AI in a way that they think of AI as a partner or a tool and not something that intimidates them, and try to utilize that in the classroom. Especially like a lot of experts are saying that the next phase is going to be all about intellectual property and media and how to utilize that. And I think this allows them to kind of get more ready for that. Thank you so much. I hope I didn't go too long.
Thank you. Before you leave, we're going to present here. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is your special gift. Maybe we can just.
Thank you.
So thank you for your presenting, Yusuf. And if you're interested in really building, any of you, if you're interested in building your idea, pedagogy idea, connect with us, connect to me. So I'm very happy to build this app with you and move forward. So number 4, Anna Marie Isaline. Probably she's going to be late because she's coming from a class. And we can start. Number 3, Keshia Wall G. Is it okay to present?
Oh, yeah, actually, yeah, that's fine. Hi, my name is Keisha Walji, and I'm an assistant professor of dance in the Department of Performing Arts. I'm going to do it like this. Yes. So my area of expertise is traditional West African dance, and West African dance is still relatively new in an academic setting, even though it is a foundational practice and feeds other dance genres that are most popular if you've heard of jazz dance or even musical theater. And so I was hired to build West African dance into the dance program. West African dance is not codified like other dance techniques, right? And so I have had a tough time trying to get the point across to students. This is what it should look like, this is what it should feel like, this is where you should be initiating from. And so to prevent students looking like little ballerinas inside of my West African class, this was really out of desperation. So I started working with an AI software called Crikey, but it was animation. And it has helped some, and I've been treating the dance studio as a lab, which I'll talk about here in just a second. There we go. So there are only about 10 of us nationwide, West African dance full-time West African dance practitioners across the U.S. And we all know each other, and we're all like talking and trying to, share ideas. But to allow for a deeper understanding of rhythmic patterns, weight shifts, and full body articulation, I began using Crikey AI, which is an animation tool. It has helped some, like I said, but there's still some struggle there. And so trying to get the information across to students Tuesday, Thursday, and cram hundreds and hundreds of years of culture and music and dance and technique inside of a studio in the Center for Fine Arts on Tuesday, Thursday for an hour and 40 has just been almost impossible. And so I've mostly working with BFA dance students, dance science students, musical theater, but then I also have some non-majors that take the course as well. And so my hope, even though I just got the software in the mail last week, is to use a Rococo full motion capture bodysuit. So it would actually look like this. So I have a full motion capture bodysuit, and I plan to, I don't know if I can actually click this link so you can, oh yeah. So it would look like this. Right, but with the muscular system. My hope is that students will be able to use this at home, but then also we can pull this up inside of the classroom, and students will be able to see where movement is initiating from while I have the musicians there in the space, and so they can see what the body should be doing at any given time. Oftentimes when it's just me in the classroom, they are just trying to imitate what I'm doing. It just doesn't look, it's not right, right? And so instead of trying to copy me or mimic me, they can understand it inside of their own bodies. So outside of that, I'm finding that it is this, the intended outcome is to help students better understand where movement initiates from, and then open up access even to students who might be neurodivergent. I myself am neurodivergent, and I have a processing disorder where I don't necessarily process information in real time. And I remember even as an undergraduate dance student myself, not being able to pick up movement material in the moment. And so students being able to take this home with them or have video footage of this muscular system, they can do this in their dorm rooms. They can, practice as much as they want and hopefully have a clearer understanding when they come back to the classroom. And then lastly, my hope is to be able to expand this beyond just West African dance. I think that I can build this into modern dance, into Pilates, because I teach both of those genres as well. And then you may end up seeing it on the performance stage at some point in time, once I figure that out. Yes, and so I plan to launch this in the fall. And hopefully, I mean, I put a question mark there because I was feeling insecure about it, but maybe like folks from engineering or computer science can collaborate as well. And then I was also speaking to some PT folks as well. So that is all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Can I have you
Oh, yes.
here? Here. These are.
Thank you.
Oh, you have.
Oh. Thank you.
Thanks. So Anne-Marie just joined us, and right now Anne-Marie, number 4. Do you mind? Are you ready? We need to connect to Air Media. Will work here? Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I was coming from class. I'm happy to be here, and I hope that we'll have some time afterwards so that I can chat with some of you about collaborating on some of the work that I'm interested in doing in the psychology department. My hope is that, and my plan is to develop a course on integrating AI into psychological research that's accessible to psychology students and other students in related social sciences. And so it's a new course titled Using AI in Psychological Research. The challenge that I saw was that students, at least in the psychology department, learn a lot of statistical tools and practices that aren't always accessible in the real world when they go to nonprofits or they might go to a hospital. They're not always going to have SPSS as a program, and AI can offer them some real world tools that they can practice with and then carry into the real world in their professional practices. And so the course is to equip students to be engaging with these novel technologies in ways that will enhance their learning, but also into their professional work beyond Elon. The opportunities then are to make AI and the skills that they have, the professional development skills that they have, more interactive and accessible to them in a way that they can, I'll show a couple examples. Often when we're doing statistics, we're doing point and click and we're thinking about the numbers. When we use AI, we're talking about starting with research questions, verbal statements, and ChatGPT and Elicit that I'm going to talk about help to take those verbal questions, help students refine them, and then also implement them with tools that would be accessible to them outside of higher ed. And then to also deepen their critical thinking about the ethics behind the use of AI in research, as well as being critical consumers and users of it in real-world applications in psychology. So I'm developing an advanced studies course that's using AI for research, applied methods, and data analysis. So the idea is that students will learn key knowledge and skills to effectively and ethically integrate AI tools into research once they're out of Elon. The skills that will be developed are several. They'll engage in and learn critical ethical reflections on AI and the use of AI in research outside of higher ed. They'll be able to translate verbal questions into appropriate statistical analyses and results. They will be able to critically evaluate AI inputs, evaluating them for bias, algorithmic bias, etc. And then they'll be able to understand some higher level statistics that aren't often covered in psychology, specifically meta-analysis, and that they'll be able to implement a meta-analysis with the assistance and support of AI. This is an example of one of the ways that AI can be used. So in a meta-analysis, to publish a meta-analysis, you need to follow PRISMA guidelines. And so I took a data set here. I recorded it so I stay within the time frame. It's a 30-second snippet of how ChatGPT can be used to create this PRISMA reporting. Was it at volume? Turn the volume.
So we have an issue.
Data in Excel. I'm uploading here a data set of 1,799 studies and asking.
I couldn't hear. I will just overlay. So what I'm doing here, let me just pause it. What I did here is I just used the verbal prompt and this wasn't even engineered. Students are going to practice engineering prompts. I just asked it to take a data set of 1,799 articles that we have made inclusion, exclusion decisions on, and why, if they were excluded, the reason they were excluded. This is standard meta-analytic procedure. And I just said, put it in Prisma format. And that's the only prompt that I gave it. And you'll see that it takes the data, it uses Python coding that students often don't learn in psychological research, but we will play around with Python coding, editing Python coding, and evaluating Python coding. And you'll see that, and then you'll see the output that can be taken from ChatGPT and implemented into a Prisma diagram that would go into a publication on a meta-analysis.
Studies and asking it to summarize the data.
So I uploaded an Excel file. It reads Excel files quite well.
Analyses which we could input into a
That's what the data looks like.
data.
You can click on Analyzing and see the Python code that you can copy and edit.
Analyze the code, and then the output that it will create is an output that could be used to fill in.
And these are the numbers you need for a Prisma diagram for a publication. So students will be able to engage with ChatGPT in that way. We're using 2 AI forms, ChatGPT for the first part of the course, and then Elicit AI, which is specific to meta-analyses and systematic reviews in research. And so this is an output from a screening where we gave it 2 criteria to screen. It tells us whether AI thinks the study should be included or excluded based on those screening criteria. You can toggle this to be more or less conservative in how confident you want the AI to be to include the article. But it also extracts data, and so we'll be doing human coding as well as AI coding so that students get experience with looking at and evaluating how Elicit works for meta-analytic procedures and systematic reviews. The impact is a bunch of skill development for students that are relevant to real-world applications. I think research is more accessible when it's through language and research questions. And they'll get real-time engagement and feedback, iterative real-time feedback from ChatGPT as well as me and their peers. They're also going to learn how to strengthen research collaborations, and through that, doing this AI-supported meta-analysis together. That fosters peer learning as well as evidence synthesis, which is a skill that we often don't teach our research students in psychology. We'll also cultivate practices that empower students to feel like they could go in to AI, new emerging AI technology, and be critical and ethical and discerning researchers and consumers of that information. I think that's really important in the real world, where they might be running analyses not for publication, but for a clinical trial, where they need a quick meta-analysis just to get an understanding of the data, and it's not meant to be published. So real-world applications will be really critical here, but we want them to be discerning about when that's biased and when it might be inaccurate. We'll also promote critical thinking by checking outputs for accuracy, bias, and relevance to the questions asked. And then finally, centering, and it's going to start with ethical awareness and throughout the entire course, focusing on the ethical awareness of AI, including algorithmic bias, data privacy, and limitations of AI. I need to develop and refine the assessments and also feedback and rubric-based assessments for the students. That's my plan for fall of next year. I want to also pilot interdisciplinary collaborations. I envision these practices and activities as being able to translate into a variety of different disciplines, public health, other social sciences that are doing similar research. We can develop assignments that could be used across the discipline, and I'm looking forward to some of those collaborations. I'm going to invite guest speakers who are working in AI. I have a really good relationship with the folks at Elicit, and I'm hoping to bring in some of them to talk. And I have a colleague at UVA who's published a lot on ChatGPT, and he'll come and visit the class. And then long-term, the goal is to build this ethics-anchored, really dynamic and engaged model of AI pedagogy that supports responsible undergraduate research in psychology. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for your presentation. Take a picture here. Thank you. So, and we are moving number 2. Pardon me, this name is wrong here. Aaron from education. Sorry for the naming. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna try to do it without my glasses. We'll see how far we get. Hello, I'm Erin Hone, and I teach in the Dr. Joe Watts Williams School of Education. Primarily teach elementary education, but every fall I get to teach our educational assessment course, which is a focus on our middle grades and secondary or high school pre-service teachers. So this, what came out of this challenge is an assignment that I plan to implement in the fall in at least my educational assessment course, but possibly in my senior capstone seminar, which is a focus on assessment with the elementary education majors. It's a 2 credit hour course versus a 4 credit hour course, and so there's a little bit less time, but I definitely want to incorporate some version, condensed version of this in that course as well, because I'm really excited about it. Let's see. So, specifically the challenge, and I'm sure that you all are seeing this as well, more and more I'm seeing our students use AI very much as the end-all be-all, not necessarily checking the accuracy of the information, not even recognizing if the response that they get aligns with the prompt that they gave it. And we're seeing that in education as well. And so you can think about how that would present itself. They're trying to create lesson plans or instructional activities. They give it a prompt and go with it because it's a decent activity, but it is not at all aligned with what they're supposed to be teaching their students. And so that is the challenge that we're seeing. And so I saw this as an opportunity to, one, help our candidates to see how they can meaningfully use AI in their teaching. I wish I had it when I was a classroom teacher. It would have saved me a lot of time in the classroom, teaching, being a generalist and teaching all subject areas all day long. It's very time consuming, and so it's a great benefit to them. So I want to help them learn how to meaningfully engage with it, and then also prompting them to see the benefits but also the limitations that come along with it. Which as a teacher poses validity issues, ethical issues, and it might even yield inaccurate data from our students, or from their students. So you will see a few of different AI tools that are specific to teachers. Magic School is something I've been working with this past year, and DifIT is a focus on differentiation in instructional materials, and then some of our typical, of course, ChatGPT, but some of our typical assessment tools have an AI component. And so there's lots out there. And because my educational assessment course focuses on all of the important things in assessment, designing assessments, looking at validity and reliability of assessments, looking at alignment across evaluation criteria to the assessments that they've created, this challenge and this assignment that I have created is really kind of pulls all of those things together. So the goals of this include, number one, exploring the various AI tools and recognizing how they can be helpful in the design of instructional materials. That's the first phase of the assignment. I do see this as an assignment that will flow through a few weeks of the semester and will pull in the components of the course as the semester goes on. And then they will be analyzing the given response that they're putting into the AI tool. So they'll be asking it for an assessment that aligns with learning objectives. And they will be looking at that assessment to analyze it, to see if it's valid, to see if the results that it gave it aligns with what they're actually supposed to be teaching, with the standards, with the learning objectives. I think my next slide shows the components of this. They'll also be creating, using AI to create a rubric or evaluation criteria. And then again, they'll have to stop and critically evaluate, is the evaluation criteria aligned with the assessment that it created, and is that aligned with the standards and the objectives that they are supposed to be teaching in the end. And then the biggest part of this is that critical evaluation, which really gets at the validity piece, is aligned, the reliability piece, is it prone to iterator reliability error? And then the bias analysis, which is kind of hard to help my students to really think through. And so actually analyzing and evaluating the assessment and the evaluation criteria that came from the AI to see if there are any biases present, cultural, linguistic, ability related, ones that may be deficit focused on socioeconomic groups. So seeing how this might impact student performance or equity based on what they just took from an AI tool. And then that AI reflection of how effective was the AI tool in supporting their design and really looking at what are the benefits and the limitations of it. I think that, so pedagogical impact, recognizing the strengths and limitations of AI to generate instructional materials and really helping to reinforce those. They're kind of abstract to our education majors, these ideas of validity and reliability and bias in assessment. And then just more broadly, challenging them to think deeply about how technologies are very beneficial, but also how they might complicate our teaching and complicate our assessment practices. So what's next? What's not up here is, first and foremost, I want to spend more time, because I do plan to implement this fall, I want to spend more time digging into different AI tools that I haven't really used and that would be beneficial for my students to dive into in the fall. I plan to implement this in the fall. I've already created the assignment and the evaluation criteria that goes along with it, that aligns with all of the components of the assignment. I do want to look at how impactful this assignment is for them. So gathering the examples, feedback from the students, and just insight from their student work on the impact. We do a lot of partner work with our local schools, and I could see this as being a professional development opportunity with our teachers in our local schools. And then also possibly presenting this at a practitioner-focused education conference on what came out of it and how impactful it was to the students. I think that is everything.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And finally, we are going to hear the winner of the AI Pedagogy Challenge, Israel Balderas from Communication School. Please. Israel. Wow. So we have your tool here to set up. Yeah.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Friends, colleagues, comrades, brothers and sisters. That is how Christopher Hitchens used to start his presentations. I love it. I'll add to that my allies here at Elon University. My name is Israel Balderas. I'm in the School of Communication. By background, I am a journalist. I am a lawyer. By pedagogical experience, I teach media law and ethics. The class really now should be called Media, Law, Ethics, and AI, because artificial intelligence is changing everything I teach. There is no more copyright law. There is no more privacy law. Defamation law is quickly being upturned, and First Amendment law is really being challenged, as we see every day in the headlines of the New York Times. And so for me, I wanted to create a chatbot that helps me to have very brave conversations in perilous times. I can summarize how I teach and what I teach by kind of giving you the first paragraph of the final discussion that my students are right now working on. This is what I tell them. You've completed one of the most demanding courses in the School of Communications, and you did so during a moment in history when law, speech, media, and technology are shifting at breakneck speed. That's no small fear. It's also a time when the world feels particularly chaotic, divided, and uncertain. This wasn't just an academic challenge for you, it was a test of stamina, curiosity, and courage. So my challenge is, how do I get students to engage in these discussions around religion, around speech, around justice, because they are afraid of offending others. They're not used to having these civil conversations and to be able to exchange ideas with diversity, with different points of view. As I said, I teach media law and ethics, but I'm really not teaching that. What I'm teaching is I'm teaching civil discourse. And what I'm using civil discourse skills to be able to have conversations, right? How do you have a conversation about a case like Kennedy versus Bremerton, right? Involving a football coach who prays at the 50-yard line after a game. He is a public employee. Does the First Amendment protect his speech? Or how do you talk about a case like 303 Creative, where you have a Christian web designer who says, I do not want to design websites for gay marriage couples who are getting married, right? How do I have conversations, for example, about do Nazis have the right to march down a neighborhood that is mostly Jewish? What about can the president expel a student for having pro-Palestinian points of view? These are conversations that must be had. But how do you have these conversations when the students feel like if they do something, they'll be canceled on social media, or worse, right? People will say horrible things about them in their lives here. So for me, the opportunity to have an AI chatbot that offers low stakes, private spaces for students to rehearse these difficult conversations before they enter the classroom, right? This is a way for them to take all this material, not study it, not memorize it, but to engage with artificial intelligence in a way that the AI could say, why don't you take this approach? Why don't you take the utilitarian approach to ethics? What about a feminist duty of care? If you apply the feminist duty of care to this, right, then the higher priority would be X. So for me, I want to offer students this idea that if we can have civil discourse in polarized age, that's really what we want our students to leave Elon University to engage as citizens. So Media Law and Ethics is an upper level graduate course. It's a 4,000 level course. All majors have to take it. So at some point, they're going to exchange with this substance. So I have journalism students, I have poli-sci students, I have Stratcom, cinema, television, media design, and media analytics. So for me, we are engaging in real world legal dilemmas in a way that we can have these very brave conversations. So the way that the AI facilitates these civil discourse conversations is that students are guided through 3 key steps. One, they can draft their arguments, or they can have questions about the cases. A good example of that would be a case like Counterman versus Colorado, where someone who was struggling mentally threatened a musician with her life, right? Posting on social media, I'm going to kill you. Does the First Amendment protect that type of speech? And if it does, what's the level of proof that the government has to make before the person can be arrested? As you can imagine, people really have strong opinions about that, but they're afraid, right? What does it mean to have true threats? So the way this works is that students are guided through first your argumentation. Then they receive feedback from the AI on your tone, your clarity, your logic. Right? Were you able to argue this from an emotional point of view, from a logical point of view? Did you have, right? Is this a circular argument? Are you using logical fallacies for this argumentation? And then you also explore counter arguments, because after all, the Supreme Court said yes, right? Somebody, an individual can say, I'm going to kill you, unless you can prove subjectively that the person knew it was going to be reckless disregard, right? Now, at first people say, that's a horrible thing. How could this conservative court say that? And then I point out it wasn't a conservative court, it was Elena Kagan who wrote the majority opinion in that, right? And so then students struggle with, oh, I had one point of view, now I have another point of view, because it was Elena Kagan who argued the case in Counterman. So this tool serves as a private, low-pressure rehearsal space where students can reflect on this conversation so that the next day, when they come to my class, it's not silent. It's not awkward. I don't like to lecture. I like to have conversations. I tell my students, I want to know what you think. What would you argue? What about that point of view? What do you think, right? And you're not wrong. It's your opinion. You can't be wrong in your opinion. And so if I just did that initially, Well, I can see it in your face. I'm putting you on the spot. And you're a little afraid. Don't worry, I won't put the mic to you. But if he rehearsed the day before, he feels a little bit more confident to say, the AI told me, right, that this is the best approach. And so let me in the classroom, make it the lab where I can experience this. And then I can offer positive feedback. Well, what about this point? And the student feels better about that. Finally, integrating this into the classroom. Certainly there's pre-discussion preparation, students draft their responses, there will be live discussion support, and then there'll be an opportunity to reflect on the assignment. This is the way it flows from student input to AI feedback, and then there's revised argumentation before they come to class. And for me, the pedagogical impact is that students have confidence in participation. That's key, right? We want students to feel like they know what they're doing, right? They're not lawyers. This is not law school, but certainly to be able to exercise critical thinking skills. That's key. They can also participate in clarity and empathy. As I tell my students, right, these cases are not about the law. They're not about the First Amendment. They're about human beings. Don't ever forget, there are names to these cases. And so therefore, we have to be more human when we talk about these cases. And then students practice how to speak, not just what to say. Don't repeat what I say. You do your own speaking. Certainly, for example, my colleague and I from poli-sci, Matt Young, we combined our courses in the winter term to have a class engagement project on whether or not the First Amendment should ban books. And we start with, should the government ban a book like Maya Kobabe's book, Genderqueer? And as you can imagine, all the students obviously defend that book. Absolutely, the First Amendment protects the author from that book. And then we say, okay, what about a book like The Transgender Craze, right, by Abigail Shrier? Now that's a book that a lot of people don't mind banning, but now you have to really figure out why is it the First Amendment protects both books. The feedback from that was that students really appreciated being able to have this engagement. And I think what we learned from that is that AI can scaffold discomfort, not avoid it. Students need clear boundaries to use ethical reasoning, and certainly the tool has value far beyond one course or discipline. So for me, this is what I hope. I hope that I could implement something like this AI chatbot into different departments, religion, poli-sci, certainly philosophy. CATL is awesome. I love CATL. I've working with, they've helped me so much, but I would like to expand on the work that I've been doing this year with AI. I already submitted for a grant proposal from Wabash on how can I explore links between religion, civic discourse, and AI. And I certainly would love to build out a library of case-based ethical prompts, and I would love to, as always, publish reflection. Let me show you this, I have a working model for this. So you can see it. And this will be on Moodle in the fall. And so this is my AI facilitated civil discourse companion. I can have different prompts, cases like Kennedy, 303, book bans, right? They enter their argumentation. They can take a neutral tone. They can take an assertive tone. They can use different ethical frameworks, right? Not just Western civilization, but certainly the Ubuntu ethical framework from Africa, women, ethics of care, and then the AI will analyze their argument, and then they have to write a reflection paper, right? It can't be AI written, it has to be their own words, and then they put their reflection journal. One more thing. I have never coded in my life, like ever. I was able to put this together on Thursday, and it took me about 5 hours to do something like this. I want to show students that this is the future. You do something that you can't do because AI helps you to do this. We prepare students for their third job. It's a job that doesn't exist, right? But if they learn the critical skills to do this, then we're going to have amazing alum. And so my lesson for this with my students is, I did something that I was uncomfortable doing. I've never done it. I felt awkward. I felt dumb. I really did. And then this happened, and then I felt proud. I want you to feel the same way. And I hope that that's what students learn from this AI chatbot. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
And you presented the winning idea.
Thank you. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you very much. This is very humbling.
So it was really hard, all of us, to judge and rate these great ideas. Indeed, there are many different great ideas just articulated and submitted. We just generated these AI toolboxes, and we feel lucky to read all of those great, innovative, creative uses. If you have any questions, or if you have any concern, or if you have any suggestions, scan this. We are going to use these inputs to assist and resource our campus next semester. And I'll be around here for 5 minutes. Thank you for joining us. And before we go, judges, can I get you here after we need to take a picture together? Am I right? Before we go. Thank you for joining us.